Coming up on Sportsource, Georgia men's hockey had a stellar season, but they're falling short in postseason play. How will they adjust before nationals? We've got the inside scoop. And one baseball player left his old team behind and found a new spark at Georgia. Now he's swinging for success with the Bulldogs, his journey next. Plus, a certain quarterback is leaving Georgia. Maybe for love? We took to the streets to find out if fans are blowing the whistle on that. Sportsource starts now. Happy Valentine's Day, sports lovers, and welcome to Sportsource. I'm your host, Kylie Sharp. There's one thing UGA students love, it's a winning team. The UGA club hockey team has been adding win after win to their record, but when it needed to count, they fell short. Joining us now is Sportsource reporter Jet Rawls. Jet spoke with head coach John Camp to discuss how the team is adjusting after the recent loss. Jet?
Thanks, Kylie. The Ice Dogs found a lot of success in the regular season, boasting a division-leading 19-1-3 record. But in last week's Division I CHS Conference tournament, the top-seeded Bulldogs couldn't find a win. With Nationals coming up in March, how will they respond? I sat down with the team and head coach John Camp to find out.
When the Ice Dogs met for practice at Athens Ford Arena the Monday after the CHS Conference tournament, they did so with one thing on their mind: improvement. The team entered the tournament as the 1 seed, with just one regular season loss and 3 ties making up their division-high record. But the tournament didn't go as expected, with Georgia falling to Tennessee and South Carolina to have their conference title hopes shut down. Ice Dogs head coach John Camp says the losses were a valuable lesson, highlighting key areas to focus on as the team prepares for the final stretch leading up to the national tournament.
I mean, we have to make sure we're ready for these games. Just can't assume that because we beat these folks in the past that it's just going to be an easy go at it.
But to get back on track, Camp says the Dogs have to look within.
We've implemented some changes to really focus on what was exposed as weaknesses, which I think was more mental than anything. I think when you win a lot of games consistently and the teams you're facing, you've already beat them multiple times, I think complacency set in, and the team will probably be the first ones to admit that. And that's where mental strength and toughness has to come in.
Junior forward and assistant captain Evan Parente says that the losses have given the team the motivation and strength to step up their game even more.
Coming into playoffs, I think other teams stepped their level up, and we kind of kept ours similar to what it had been because it had been working. So now during practice, we know that we have to give more, and we know we have more to give.
With 9 seniors on the roster, Camp says their experience and leadership will be crucial as the team moves past this weekend and learns from it before nationals.
It really has to come within the locker room at this point to make sure that we don't have a free-for-all at this point, because we have nationals still out there to get some hardware. At the end of the day, we got to put this one behind us, but remember the lesson learned and focus on being the best we can between now and the beginning of March when nationals take place down in Jacksonville.
Reporting for the Carmichael Sports Media Institute, I'm Jet Rawls.
Georgia still has some time to get back to their winning ways before they make the trip to Jacksonville for Nationals from March 5th through 9th. The Ice Dogs will return to action this weekend as they head to face Alabama. Back to you, Kylie.
Thanks, Jet. Moving from the ice to the hardwood, we have a matchup that's sure to make hearts race. Georgia men's basketball hosting number 21 ranked Missouri in a high-stakes SEC showdown. It's time for our game of the week. Joining me now to break down the game are Sportsource analysts Wesley Branch and Kaylin Vidal.
Kylie, this one's got all the drama of a Valentine's Day rom-com. 2 familiar foes looking for a storybook ending. Georgia is hoping to rekindle its postseason dreams with a key win, while Missouri is looking for some revenge after getting their hearts broken by the Bulldogs in last year's SEC tournament.
The question is, which team will have the upper hand and which one will be left heartbroken? We'll break it all down for you next on Sportsource. Don't go breaking our hearts. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Sportsource and welcome into our game of the week. This weekend we have a huge SEC matchup with conference and NCAA tournament standings on the line. Number 21 ranked Missouri men's basketball comes to Athens to take on Georgia in a vital game for both teams' standings in the SEC. The Bulldogs have some recent heartbreak, losing their last 2 games, both to ranked opponents. The Tigers come in riding the high of a win at home Wednesday night and are looking to get some revenge for the last time they faced Georgia. Can Missouri avenge its loss against its SEC rival from the last time they faced off, or will Georgia continue its success at Stegeman Coliseum? To break everything down, I'm joined by Sportsource analysts Wesley Branch and Kaylin Vidal. Analysts, what should we be expecting from this matchup?
Kylie, we have what feels like an NCAA tournament level game ahead of us and what might be a must-win for Georgia against Missouri, who is seeking some payback for their 64-59 season-ending loss in the SEC tournament to Georgia last season. But as far as this season, this is the first matchup between the Bulldogs and the Tigers.
Here's what Georgia head coach Mike White had to say Thursday about this dynamic matchup.
Turned our attention to 99% Missouri today, and I should say 75%, 24% us, and 1% the last game. But continue to work on some skill level stuff, and what puts us in the best position to have a chance to win one down the stretch in this league these days, which is very difficult. Again, another high-level team. Missouri can make a run in the NCAA tournament. They're really good.
Comparing the two teams, Georgia averages 75 points per game, ranking 13th in the SEC, while Missouri is scoring 82.4 points per game, which is 5th in the SEC. Defensively, the Bulldogs are one of the conference's best, allowing just 67.4 points per game. The Tigers fall just behind, surrendering 68.8 points per game. It's a true opposites attract matchup.
What individual matchups are you looking for that will play a role in this game?
The matchup I'm watching is Missouri's Tamar Bates versus Georgia's Silas Demery Jr. Demery is second on the Bulldogs in scoring this season with 11.8 points per game and leads the team in assists. Meanwhile, Bates is the Tigers' top scoring guard, leading the team with 13.5 points per game. Both of these players are disruptive on defense as well, ranking first and second in steals on their team respectively.
I'm keeping an eye out for Georgia's Asa Newell against Missouri's Mark Mitchell. Both players are key scorers and rebounders for their teams. Newell leads the Bulldogs in scoring and rebounding with 15 points per game and 6.7 rebounds per game. Mitchell, on the other hand, is second on the Tigers in scoring with almost 13 points per game and second in rebounding with just under 5 rebounds. With Missouri running a smaller lineup relative to the SEC, Mitchell will likely draw the defensive assignment of Newell due to his size. Another player I'm looking at in this game is Missouri's Caleb Grill. Grill is third on the Tigers in scoring at 12.7 points per game and has been lethal from the three-point line. He's second in the nation in three-point percentage, shooting over 48% from the perimeter. One of Missouri's strengths is his outside shooting, and Grill leads that charge. In his last game against Oklahoma, he went 3 of 4 on three-pointers and racked up 5 rebounds and 3 assists. The Bulldogs will have to stay attached to him at all times to prevent him from getting open looks to stay in this game.
Those matchups will definitely be something to keep an eye on tomorrow. Analysts, what do you think each team needs to do to take the win?
Like I mentioned, it's a real opposites attract matchup with these two teams. Georgia has had a lot of defensive success, while Mizzou's success comes from their offense. Georgia needs to drive to the rim and get the ball inside to the big men. The guards driving to the rim with those forwards and centers posting up will likely continue to be their offensive success, especially against a smaller team. But the Bulldogs have got to stop turning over the ball. They have the third highest average in the SEC in turnovers per game with over 13.
That's right, Kaylin. Missouri leads the SEC with 10 steals per game. The Tigers aren't a fast break heavy team, but forcing those turnovers will minimize scoring opportunities for Georgia and maximize the number of possessions for Missouri. Also, remaining consistent on three-pointers will be important for the Tigers. They are second in the SEC in three-point percentage, but the Bulldogs are number 18 in the nation in three-point percentage defense.
It seems like it's going to be a close matchup. Analysts, it's time to make your final love story endings or heartbreak predictions.
Kylie, I think Georgia's ability to defend the three-point line will be paramount in this matchup. If they defend it like they have the majority of this season, they'll be in a position to win this game. But if Missouri gets hot, it could get away from them. Ultimately, though, I think the Tigers have too many threats from the outside. My heart says it'll be close, but my head says Missouri wins this one, 78-71.
Wes, with two powerhouses on different sides of the ball, it really could go either way. Georgia is 13-2 in Stegman Coliseum this season and hasn't played a game since Tuesday. So I think with the Bulldogs having a bit more rest between games than the Tigers and that home court advantage, the Bulldogs will take the win 73-68.
Coming up on Sportsource, UGA baseball is back and brimming with potential, bolstered by talent from the transfer portal. Meet the standout transfer after the break. And later, love and sports collide this week in Athens, but how far would you go for the one or the team you love? We hit campus to find out. Don't go away. Sportsource returns after this short break. Welcome back to Sportsource. UGA baseball's heartbreaking season came to an end last year in the Super Regionals. As the Georgia Bulldogs baseball season is beginning, this revamped squad is loaded with talent from the transfer portal. Joining us now is Sportsource reporter Aiden Daly. He caught up with one of the transfers who's bringing some big expectations heading into the spring. Aiden?
That's right, Kylie. This week, I had the opportunity to speak with transfer Daniel Jackson, better known as DJ by his teammates. The sophomore is coming off a stellar freshman season at Wofford, hitting .357, including 12 home runs and 69 RBIs. And his bat might not even be the best part of his game. As a catcher, he had a fielding percentage of .997, committing only one error in 340 chances for the Terriers. Hoping to keep that momentum heading into the 2025 season. Here's what he had to say. So, DJ, what was it like transferring from Wofford to UGA?
It's pretty special. Wofford was a great spot, but I love it here at Athens, and I'm super glad to be here.
So, you were coming off a red-hot freshman season. Tell us what you learned from that season and how you want to carry it forward.
It was pretty awesome to gain as much experience as I did as a freshman. Obviously, we went to a regional. I'm hoping to carry that experience on over here. Just start transitioning into more like a leadership role, learning more, and try to win some more games.
So what would you say was your welcome to college baseball?
I would say my welcome to college baseball was one of our first road trips. We went to Charlotte, and I got absolutely diced. I think I struck out 3 or 4 times, and I felt pretty terrible, and I would say that was my welcome to college baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. So after an approach like that, what is your mindset when you're in the on-deck batter's box? What is your process to get ready to hit?
Process is, honestly, I don't want to think too much. Small plan of what I want to do according to the situation, and honestly just having full confidence in yourself and just believing that you can get the job done no matter what.
So what is something the fans wouldn't be able to know about you just from watching you on the baseball field?
Just from watching me on the baseball field, they probably wouldn't know that I don't know, I feel like a lot of my whole personality is just baseball. I mean, I spend most of my time here, but I like playing video games in my free times. I have 5 dogs. That's about it.
Okay. So, what can we expect from the baseball team this year, and what are you guys going to have to do to make it to Omaha?
I think you can have very high expectations. I think we have, one of the best pitching staffs in the country, super stacked offensive lineup. I think us going to Omaha is close to a guarantee. I think we have the guys to do it, the teamwork to do it. I think in order to do it, we just have to keep believing in ourselves, keep creating that, bond with each other of having great teamwork, and I think we'll get it done.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks again to DJ for taking the time to chat with us. With his power at the plate and rock-solid defense behind it, he's expected to be a key piece for the Bulldogs this season. UGA fans have a lot to be excited about as the team looks to start the season right with games this weekend against Quinnipiac and UNC Wilmington. Kylie, back to you.
Wow, I just love new love, especially when it's supposed to be as successful as the UGA baseball squad. But it isn't always happily ever after. Joining me now are Sportsource analysts Skylar DeLuca and Ansley Gavlak.
That's right, Kylie. In the world of sports, some athletes and coaches keep the love alive, while others say their goodbyes.
When Sportsource returns, we'll break down some of the most successful and heartbreaking duos at UGA. You don't want to miss it.
Welcome back to Sportsource. Love is in the air, and so is the spirit of competition. This Valentine's Day, we're celebrating some of the greatest dynamic duos in UGA athletics history, the couples that make magic happen on the field, court, and mat. Joining me now are Sportsource analysts Ansley Gavlak and Skylar DeLuca.
From Stetson Bennett and Brock Bowers' championship chemistry to the unstoppable connection between Courtney Capets and Suzanne Jacqueline, these pairs captured hearts and trophies alike. But which Georgia duo is the best?
My personal favorite is Stetson Bennett and Brock Bowers. Together, they propelled the Bulldogs to success, delivering back-to-back national championships and rewriting the record books along the way. These two not only set the tone for Georgia football in the post-COVID era, but also made history both on and off the field. Bennett's coined nickname the Mailman and journey from walk-on to Heisman Trophy finalist is nothing short of inspirational, while Bowers cemented his legacy as the first ever back-to-back John Mackey Award winner, recognizing him as the nation's top tight end, a dynamic pair that will be remembered for years to come.
Bennett and Bowers might be the ultimate dynamic duo, but do they truly deserve the crown as Georgia's greatest pair of all time?
Kylie, the stats don't lie. Bennett threw for 4,127 yards and 27 touchdowns in 2022, including a comeback win over Ohio State in the Peach Bowl. In 2021, he passed for 2,862 yards and 29 touchdowns, securing Georgia's first national title in 41 years. Bowers recorded 63 catches for 942 yards and 10 total touchdowns in 2022. As a freshman, he set UGA tight end records with 56 catches, 882 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Their dominance on the field solidified Georgia football's long-lasting dynasty.
Now those stats are hard to top. What about you, Ansley? Who's at the top of your list?
I think it's safe to say that there has been no shortage of legendary duos throughout the past 10 years at Georgia. But I would have to say one of my favorites is a gym dog duo that has lasted for over a decade.
A decade? That's longer than most relationships these days. Tell me more.
Courtney Capets began her gymnastics days in red and black in 2006. At the time, Suzanne Jacqueline was the head coach of the Gym Dogs, beginning her 22nd year as head coach. Throughout Capet's 4 years at Georgia, she won 4 team national championships, 8 SEC event championships, 9 NCAA individual titles, and was a 15-time All-American. She was also the first gymnast to win individual championships in all 4 events and the all-around title. And Jacqueline had just as impressive of a career, leading Georgia to an NCAA best 10 national championships, 16 SEC titles, and 22 NCAA regional crowns throughout her 26 years of coaching.
Wow, it seems like this duo really was unstoppable.
But the success between this duo didn't end there. In 2017, Capets was hired as the newest Gym Dogs head coach, just over 9 years after she completed one of the most historic seasons in NCAA gymnastics history. When trying to discover how to transfer her gymnastics knowledge into the coaching world, she could only think of one person to go to for advice. And you guessed it, it was Jacqueline. Jacqueline soon picked up the role of a volunteer coach alongside Capets for 2 years. The chemistry between these two was undeniable on the mat. From the way the practices were laid out to the expectations for the athletes, Capets and Jacqueline were on the same page for everything. This iconic relationship in the world of gymnastics will be hard to top anytime in the near future.
Wow, Ansley, a relationship that has truly stood the test of time. But love is a battlefield, and not all relationships are built to last like theirs. While some iconic duos stand the test of time, others call it quits. Sometimes it's just time to wish each other the best and move on, and that was the case for one duo in particular.
That's right, Kylie. For some duos, it simply just is time to break apart and move on to the next phase of life. Georgia baseball legend Charlie Condon and head coach Wes Johnson only had 1 year together before Condon entered the 2024 MLB draft and was drafted as the number 3 overall pick. But that didn't stop them from making history in their short time together. Condon was originally a walk-on for Georgia before playing 2 historic seasons with the Bulldogs. Talk about a coming-of-age story. In 2024, Condon had one of the most outstanding seasons in the history of college baseball, sweeping all 3 national honors and helping Georgia make its deepest run in the NCAA tournament since 2008. He finished the season with a .410 batting average, 30 doubles, 2 triples, 62 home runs, 145 RBIs, and 90 walks.
Charlie Condon will definitely be a name that Georgia fans will remember for a lifetime.
No doubt. But this all happened with the help of Johnson, who also carved his name into the history books last season. Alongside Condon, he established school records for most overall wins and most SEC wins for a first-year baseball coach, while also becoming the first Georgia baseball coach to host and win an NCAA regional in his first season. Though not a long-term relationship, this powerful duo is one that will never be forgotten.
Not all breakups are this easy. Georgia has seen its fair share of shocking departures, from championship-winning love stories to unexpected heartbreak in the transfer portal. Some of the biggest names in college sports are making surprising moves, leaving fans stunned.
That's right, Kylie. Carson Beck and the Georgia Bulldogs are officially done. After 5 years together, Beck has packed his bags for Miami, leaving Kirby Smart and Dog Nation devastated in the transfer portal.
But didn't he transfer for love?
Conveniently, Beck will be closer to his girlfriend, social media influencer and Hurricanes basketball player Hannah Cavender. The two made his transfer public by flashing the Miami U on TikTok. Sources say the split was mutual, but did Georgia want to pay the price to keep Beck? Or was this a clean break to make way for new love interests, like rising quarterbacks Gunnar Stockton and Ryan Puglisi? Kirby Smart is left picking up the pieces, and some fans are asking, was Beck ever a damn good dog? For now, Athens is left heartbroken, while Miami gets ready for its honeymoon phase with its new star quarterback.
Thanks, analysts. After the break, we're keeping the theme of love alive, but this time, it's off the field. We hit campus to find out how far college students will go for love or loyalty. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sportsource. While today might be the day of love, there seems to be no love lost between fans and transfer athletes. Sportsource reporter Frankie Hennessy joins us now. Frankie hit the streets to get fans' opinions on a hot topic. Should athletes transfer for love? Frankie?
Look, it's no secret that love is in the air here in Athens, but how important really is it? With a recent breakup between the UGA football team and a certain quarterback, I wanted to know if that was a flag on the play or if his love for someone else may have made it worth it. I took to campus to find out whether college students and faculty are really in it for the long game, or if a relationship just might sway them in the other direction.
Hypothetically, if a star QB transferred for his girlfriend, is that a flag on the play? Would you transfer for love?
I would. I think love is everything.
Would you transfer for love?
This one's hard because I go back and forth.
Would you transfer for love?
No. No. Never.
Would you transfer for love?
Absolutely not. Not a chance.
But I think if you feel like it's the right decision for you to make and you think that you're going to be with them, then, like, yes. But, like, don't just go and, like, quickly decide, like, oh, I'm going to transfer just for love.
Hypothetically, if a star quarterback transferred for his girlfriend, is that a flag on the play? Would you transfer for love?
I would stay where I already am. I mean, if I have love for the University of Georgia, picking that over my girlfriend and whatever $3 million they're paying him. I'm just saying.
Would you transfer schools for love?
No, go Dogs.
Turns out, some people see love as just another chapter, and others see it as the whole story. Whichever way you see it, no one can doubt that love, whether for a team or a person, might just be the strongest thing we've got. Back to you, Kylie.
There's nothing better than love. Well, maybe a national championship, but we'll call it a tie. Thanks for hanging out with us for this edition of Sportsource, sports lovers. I'm Kylie Sharp, and we'll catch you next week for more analysis, games, and hopefully a little less pink and red. See you then. Have a great weekend.